It has been a while. I'm once again going to fix myself a drink. 1 second, please. It's been a while since I've talked to you. It's been a while since I've had a drink, for that matter. And being that it is summer again, I'm going to go for a margarita. How are you? Natasha, hello. Bob says hello. Oh, just missed his big yawn. There you go. Kristen, hello to you too. Well, last time I spoke to you guys was my last video basically questioning whether I was going to close the channel. And at the time I made that video, I was kind of 50-50 on it, honestly. And it was pretty much your responses to the video that made me decide I should probably keep going. And I'm not sure what that looks like, because obviously the basis of this channel is completely will be totally different if I'm in a totally different location, because the whole point of this channel was to talk about, you know, that. And if I don't have that, it's going to be different. But a lot of people encouraged me various different perspectives on that, of that basically that I have more to offer than a pretty landscape, which was really nice to hear. Trying to get this ice out of this thing. It's really frozen solid. So yeah, I wanted to tell you guys what my plans are, because in that video I hadn't really decided yet, and I was just said I was going to be wandering around, and got a lot of people giving me suggestions on towns to move to. By the way, 5-second recap for anybody who didn't catch that video. I'm done out here. I'm tired of just having no world to participate in, is basically what it comes down to. It's not about being lonely per se. God, I cannot get the fucking ice out of this thing. There we go, got one. It's not about being lonely in the traditional sense. I feel like it's more about, like, I don't sit here and feel like, oh, if only I had a friend. I don't like yearn for companionship in quite the normal way, I guess. I guess what I'm feeling is more like I just want to be part of a human community in some way. Even if I don't really even interact with people that much. I just want to be kind of in the realm of people to a greater degree than is possible out here. So I know that's a subtle distinction, but it feels important to me. Like, there are times, I guess, when I do feel traditional loneliness, but that's not really the main motivation for me canceling the Outpost. It was more like that realization, like in the video, I showed a shot of the view out here that just like went to a still frame and slowly turned desaturated to grayscale. That's the feeling I get sometimes, where I just walk out there and I'm like, yes, it is very pretty, but it's so static and there's just nothing can ever happen here. And it's just bleak sometimes. As pretty as it is, it can be bleak. So, yeah, you can watch the video if you want to hear more about that thought process. But, yeah, essentially I made the decision to sell this property and go somewhere a bit more connected. So, I wonder if I can find a way to chill with Bob while I enjoy this drink. Bob, you want to drink a margarita? Cheers, everybody. Oh God, it's so good. I have so desperately missed drinking. I just have no occasion to enjoy this particular vice in the life out here. Kiwi Jacks, hey, thank you. Just got a little tip there. That'll pay for my first drink when I arrive in the city of Bellingham, which is where I decided to go. And Bellingham is a city. Well, I guess it's a city. I don't know what exactly the distinction is between town and city, but shit, did you just give me another one? Oh, thank you so much. You guys are so nice. It always blows me away. Like I I don't get it. Granted, there are jerks in my comments sometimes. In fact, I had to deal with quite a lot of them in response to that video, which didn't surprise me too much because it was kind of like criticizing something, which if people are into that particular thing, then they get upset, which is understandable. But I guess what's not understandable is why they feel the need to walk up to a total stranger and yell at them about it. But anyway, yeah, so Bellingham is what I would call like a small city or a large town. It's in Washington, northern Washington. It's basically the last proper settlement before Canada. It's right. It's just like an hour south of the border. There's little towns in between, but it's first actual city. And I have lived there a couple times in the past. Some of my brightest memories are from that area. It's getting windy out here. I don't know if I might have to go back in. Picking that roar in the mic. And what attracts me to this place, like I said in the video, I'm not trying to go like super urban. I'm not trying to go right back to where I started. I'm not moving back to Seattle. That was too much for me. I think what I'm learning from this whole experience is just how to kind of dial in that perfect balance of the things that I like. And I've been doing these wild swings of, I went from Seattle to Orcas Island, which is technically a really, really small town. Technically, it's probably not much bigger than Brewster out here, population-wise. But it didn't really feel like that because it's just, there's money and education and stuff out there. But as far as like access to things, it was a pretty big swing. And then I went even further out here, which is like pretty much, I don't know about the geography of it all, but I feel like where I live now is about as far away from anybody as you can get in the West Coast anyway. And this was too far. This was too extreme, as it turned out. So I'm trying to find like something that hits all the notes, or at least more of them. So, yeah, it's like I don't know that this version is kind of like I want to experiment with having access to a bit more of the urban amenities, culture, things like music venues, things where like art happens, actual, galleries, and just like culture in that sense of like being able to be a participant in culture in a way, like as an audience member, maybe a performer someday. But like I want more of that. And a lot of what I initially was thinking about is like just, a really small town somewhere, that would have a few people and, the town pub and all that kind of stuff. And that's really appealing to me too in a lot of ways. But I think about that and I'm like, I just really want a little more like energy. I want to be in a place where if I want to from time to time, I can just like go walk into town and like see a band playing who is like young and energetic and like trying to make something new, as opposed to like just playing folk standards and things that are, part of old culture. It's just like it's a different experience of it when you're in a place where like that's vital. It's like alive and current and is trying to do like trying to, I don't know, discover new things in their medium. It's just different than like being on the outskirts where people just kind of want to kick back and do what's familiar, and no judgment to that. Like I do that a lot of times as well, but there's just like I guess I crave that spark. So yeah, Bellingham is kind of a weird, unique blend of those things where it has a disproportionate amount of that stuff. It has a music venue that gets like pretty big acts from time to time, even though it's just like a little hole in the wall on their main street. It has a really great food scene for how small it is, and just like a lot of stuff that I've missed and craved. Comedy venues, theater, all that kind of stuff. So I always loved living there in the past, and it's the closest place that I've ever found to like kind of a European style village town. It has a more of kind of a European way of life, I would say, where it's like very walkable. Like there's no big highways running through the middle of towns. It's kind of like small one-way streets here and there, and a lot of walkable area. And it's just like feels like you can walk everywhere. There's a trail, like an actual hiking trail that runs through the town along the waterfront that connects like the two neighborhoods. There's just two neighborhoods. It's not like in Seattle, there are neighborhoods that I loved, but there's like so many different areas, and everyone I knew was in a different neighborhood, and we were always having to, commute across the freeway, blah, 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 from place to place. And it's just like, I want density, like a little more condensed core of just like, hey, everyone I know is around here somewhere. I'll probably run into them when I go out, and then we don't have to like think about it and make a lot of effort. So yeah, I guess I'm not here to like rhapsodize about Bellingham. Rhapsodize, that doesn't sound right. Rhapsodize. But to summarize, like why I would go there, which is, basically it's an extreme change because I'm going from this to an apartment, or like renting an apartment in a city, which is strange. It's going to be quite an adjustment. The renting the apartment thing is temporary, just to like see how things go. I leased a place that is pretty cool as far as apartments go. It has a lot of interesting things that I like, for the idea of just kind of like living in a comfortable cocoon. And then we'll see. Like I'm gonna try that for a while and make sure I actually want to live in that area, and also if I can stand living in apartments, and just like test things out. And then like next year comes around, if I'm ever able to sell this property, which I still haven't, then I might think about buying something. But yeah, it's an experiment, and it's going to be really different. So that is the gist of it. I see a bunch of chit chat here that I've been missing. I'm going to scroll back here. Yeah, visualized was talking about living in a large city in Canada. Uh, yeah, Vancouver basically will be the large city for me. Bellingham is, I think, closer to Vancouver than Seattle. So I'm kind of interested in like being a border crosser, if that's even going to still be possible the way our country's going. But yeah, small city life is a weird little niche that I don't hear people really talking about. It's kind of like a weird in between that has a very different way of living. Like there's small town life and there's city life, but most people think of city life as like a big city, like Seattle, and that's really different. When I lived in Bellingham, which is technically, a mid-sized city, it felt like what a lot of people think small town life is. Like what I thought small town life was when I came out here, which I described in that video. I kind of had this image in my mind of like, oh, small town, it's like everybody's really friendly. You go into town and you just like become part of the community, and it's very welcoming. And there's like things you can join, and places that you can be seen and known. And then what I actually found the experience of was like, it doesn't really work like that, because people in small towns don't really reach out in that way. They don't like go out into like a public sphere. They kind of all have their own private spheres. And if you've lived there for 20 years and they already know you somehow, you can be part of that sphere. But if you're just like a stranger showing up, you don't really get entry into their worlds. And I tried, like I put myself out there as much as I could for a couple of years, and it's just like, this is not going anywhere. People are nice, they're very friendly, but it's just like there's nothing happening out here. There's no place for me to go to like meet anybody and to like mingle in some way. And what I found about Bellingham is like, it ends up being sort of more similar to what I imagined a small town would be, where you go out and you see people that you know and you wave to them, and they're hanging out in the coffee shop, they're at the bar, they're at the park, they're at like all these third places that you can run into people and just like strike up conversations, and like it develops in a way that I haven't been able to make happen in actual small towns. So that's the hope anyway. And Kiwi says, I can find the best of both worlds. That is also the hope. I appreciate your well wishes there. And yeah, you also mentioned small university college towns tend to be vibrant because of the students, but can be seasonal or smaller than a big metropolis. That's something I have kind of hit upon, is that like maybe college towns are kind of the loophole in that small town, big city dichotomy, because I've noticed that even really small towns can feel alive and energized if they have a college. Because for some reason, like when there's a college where there's young people, there's nice things. it, there's like a spectrum where young people generate like fun activities and you know good food and stuff like that, and then there's kind of like this weird middle realm where it's sort of like the realm of, I don't know, maybe it's more of a class disparity, because I know like there's some regions that are mostly populated by old retired people that have really nice things, but it's like because it's a rich area. So I don't know about the other spectrum, but I do know that like places that should be poor and ugly and not have anything fun to do somehow create fun stuff if there's a college there. So it's kind of like you get to piggyback on like their youthful energy. You're like, oh, you guys want to like make nice coffee shops and have a movie theater and like patronize the arts and all that stuff? I'll just sneak in behind you here and enjoy that as well. So I guess that's how it works. They have the energy to trailblaze and make that stuff happen, and then I get to reap the benefits. But yeah, Terrarian Librarian talking about walkability makes a neighborhood feel like home. I realize that's really important to me. Distance, like I'm kind of a baby about distance. A lot of people are like, oh, you live 40 minutes away from the nearest town. Why don't you just drive down there and hang out, get your social life there. And for me, it just doesn't, it's not the same. I can't, if I have to go on like a commute to just like pop in to the bakery and say hi to somebody, it starts to fall into the realm of like travel, where I don't feel connected to it. I don't feel like it's my life. I feel like I'm going to another place to have a taste of their life, and then I travel back to where I live, to my life. And I know it's just kind of like in my head, but there's something about like just walking out of your house and just kind of like strolling and seeing what you stumble into, and knowing that whenever you're done, you just walk back and you're home. And I don't know, just when I've had that in the past, it felt so different. It feels so much easier to be like, hey, I belong here. I'm going to say hi to these people because they're in my neighborhood and I'm going to see them again. And it's worth developing relationships with people. Whereas, like, when it's a town in the middle of nowhere and everybody's commuting far, far distances to go there and like grab a beer or get their groceries or whatever, it just doesn't feel as connected. So that's a big factor for me. But yeah, some of you are asking about like what the channel would be, because it is very odd that, you know, the whole channel is about off-grid life, kind of, and you know, nature and animals and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, what does a guy in an apartment have to offer? And I don't know long term. I think for the short term, I'm thinking like it might be interesting just to sort of chronicle that transition. I I have a lot of thoughts about such things, and last time when I went to Bellingham the last time to look at this apartment and just kind of like walk around and feel the vibe, I had a lot of thoughts then, and I started thinking like, oh man, this is a really interesting experience. Like the contrasting of, you know, 4 years living in a pretty rugged existence, where I've gotten used to a very harsh day-to-day experience, and just the simplest things feel like miracles to me now. Like, just, you know, having a toilet inside my home, being able to take a shower at in any weather, uh, and even just like things like walking around on the street in this city and just seeing people doing things, hearing people talk to each other, seeing a group of friends like at an outdoor seating area at a cafe, just like laughing. And I experienced this as like it just like was like a soothing balm over my whole soul. I was like, oh my God, I've missed that so much. Just the most basic, like human stuff. I've gotten so used to just like grinding out here. So yeah, I had a lot of thoughts on that visit, and I just thought like, okay, there's definitely a few videos in this process of just talking about like what it is like to essentially, it essentially feels like I'm rediscovering civilization and seeing it with fresh eyes and just like appreciating it in a way that I never did before. So there's that. And then, you know, this guy is going to be an interesting transition as well. Um, I have big plans for him. For Urban Bob. He does not suspect that anything is wrong, anything is changing. But I've been making plans for. I'm not just going to shove him in an apartment and tell him to deal with it. Um, I'm gonna take him out in a lot of interesting ways, and hopefully give him at least almost as rich of a life as he has here. See, he's down for it. A little shrimp. I love it when he goes shrimp mode. Hey, buddy. Okay, I'm gonna keep scrolling here. So Natrium says they'd be shocked if it didn't sell, referring to my property. A lot of people looking for what you were when you bought it. Yeah, it's tough. Like I made an actual real estate sales video for the property and added it to the listing, and I don't think I'm gonna post it on this channel because it's too salesy, and I feel it feels kind of grotesque to go from what my channel has been to being like real estate agent smarm, buy your property today. But I thought about like, man, I just wish more people could see this video because I feel like you can't watch this video and not want to buy this. Showing, the things that an actual real estate listing can't show, like all the different seasons and just, the actual experience of walking around here. But yeah, I put it on Facebook. Like I don't really know what else to do with it, and it's weird. It's a very odd property. I think it's things that are ordinary are easier to sell. Like if they just look at the square footage, they look at the amount of bedrooms, they're like, yeah, this is how much it's worth. All the other houses are priced the same. When you have a property like this, it's like, wait, so 0 bedrooms and no bathroom? And how do you categorize that? And like, oh, it has a big, beautiful building site that's ready for your dream home, but for now, you got to live in here. And it's just like it takes a unique customer to go for this. So like, I'm not too surprised that it's not taken off. But we shall see. I'm not really in a big hurry to sell it because I'm not buying anything. I'm gonna rent for probably at least a year. So yeah, it's not necessary, but it would be nice just to like tie up loose ends. Getting a lot of votes in favor of small city concept in here. It's encouraging to hear that you guys get what I'm talking about with the small town thing. I felt bad about making that video because I felt like I was like shitting on small towns, and some people took it that way, and I got a lot of comments that were like, well, fuck you then, go back home to your COVID masks or whatever. Like just sort of ornery attitude. And like I tried really hard to make it clear in that video, like this is not really a criticism. Like it maybe kind of sounds like one, but I'm not saying these people are wrong or they're bad or they're dumb or like anything like that. It's just like the way that small town life is structured is not really about the town square anymore. Maybe I feel like it used to be. Like my idea of what small town life like is about is sort of like an old-timey version of it. Like maybe in the 50s or something, where small towns were more community oriented, whereas now they tend to be more isolated. And isolation, I guess, is just a plague on all different kinds of populations. And when the population is really small, you really notice it because it's like, wow, where the hell is everybody? There's like all this beautiful stuff out here. Even some of the towns are like trying to create these beautiful parks and downtown areas. And they put out cafe tables and stuff, and like nobody uses it. It's like everything's empty all the time. And I'm just like, why don't people want what I want? Probably because they have families and they just aren't into that. So fair enough. But it was more just a realization of like, this isn't me. This is not the way I'm living right now. I'm still searching for something. I'm still trying to like reach out and connect. I'm not ready to unplug. Crimson asks how many hours I am from the city where I am. So the nearest city with anything going on, I guess, it depends on how, because the definition of city is pretty broad. Like it's based on population, but there can be places that, if they cover a wide geographical area that's spread really far out, it has like the numbers to call itself a city, but it doesn't have any sort of like city culture. So like Chelan is the nearest city to me. And they're like, they have a lot of tourism. They have a lot of, there's like some business and there's a movie theater and like some entertainment there. And I almost could have enjoyed being a part of Chelan. which is an hour away from me. But part of my issue with that city is that it's like mostly about tourism, which is the same as that Orcas Island was. It's like the whole life of the place is from people who don't live there. So in the summertime, it blows up. People are everywhere. It feels like it's really alive. And then the season ends and just drains out, and it's just empty, and there's nothing going on anymore. It's like, oh, so you're not really like that. It's a theme park basically for this lake and the wineries. And then once the season ends, like crickets. So that was a big turnoff for me at Orcas Island, realizing like everybody I meet doesn't live here. All the cool people, they're just like from somewhere else, and like even if they work here, they still don't live here. They work at the bar or whatever, and then they leave once the season ends. So it's like, bye, I'll be out here alone in the woods. So that's the nearest city technically, but the nearest like major city would be Seattle, and that's like 4.5 hours from me. So that's just like not even on my map at all. So yeah, change was needed. And yeah, Wyatt, I mean, small town privacy has a lot going for it. I thought at the time that I bought this property, I really needed privacy, and it was like so important to me because I saw myself coming out here and kind of like just breaking down. I was gonna live in a shack. I was gonna just like do a Fallout 4 settlement and hammer some plywood together and throw a sleeping bag on the ground and just like wait for the trumpets of Armageddon. And that was the mind state I was in when I came out here. And I was like, nobody can look at me. I told all real estate agents, like, I need to be able to walk around naked anywhere on my property and have that not be a problem. And that really narrowed my options down. And why I ended up in a property that's like really overkill for me. It's like way too big. It's too expensive. It's too nice. I don't need this. Essentially, it's too much for me. But I ended up here because I was obsessed with privacy, and it was like, I just need nobody else around. And now I'm like, what was that all about? Like, I don't hate people. I don't want to sit in my house and just be like stewing in my bitterness. Like I want there to be life around me. I don't want like somebody's face in my window all day. And I want to be able to get away from like noise and stuff, but like I would love there to be people walking around off in the distance that I could wave to. And like it's just my whole mentality toward it has shifted. So not that you have to be like a bitter crank to want to live in a small town, but it's just a different state of mind. And yeah, Visualize mentions the rain, the West Coast. I would love to be anywhere but in Western Washington. There's so many reasons that I don't want to live there. The climate is terrible. I would much rather be in like an actual desert. Like I'd rather be in Arizona climate wise. I don't mind the heat. I like dry, clean environment. I love desert biome. I love the desert animals, all that stuff. I don't like the gray and the rain and the moss and the oppressive tree cover. Uh, and I don't like that it's like the fifth most expensive state in the whole country, right behind Hawaii, I believe. No, it's the fourth most expensive. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It goes Washington, Hawaii, California. So I've been playing on hard mode my whole life without even really realizing it. And I don't like that either. But the reason that I'm basically accepting all of those things is just that my people are here. And the idea of going to, I mean, literally, my whole family lives within an hour of this place that I'm going to, 2 hours maybe. And all of my friends, like somebody pointed out to me, you can't, like, building connections takes time. You can't fast track it. You can't just show up in another city and like immediately replicate what you get from living somewhere for decades. I've spent 43 years living in this area, in this region, in this state, and I don't have like a huge roster of close friends. I do have a few, and I have like a big spread of like people that I know. They're not exactly like friends, but they're like just a network of connections. And that takes a lot of time to build, and I don't think it should be thrown away casually. Like, I thought about so many other places I could go, and I'm just like, the idea of throwing that whole root system out to have nicer weather, it just feels really petty. And like, what really matters in life, especially now, as the whole reason I'm uprooting myself now is like, I want more people in my life. I want to feel like I have a community and have a connection to something, than to move off to, whatever country, whatever even state, and completely cut myself off from that and start from zero just to have like a bit cheaper rent or, more sunshine. It just doesn't feel worth it. So I I'm starting to understand how people become townies. I used to look down on townies. All the city people were like, "Oh, townies living in the same town they grew up in their whole life. Who would do that?" But I'm starting to get it. Like, there's something to that. You can't replace that stuff easily. And people who fling themselves to the far corners of the earth thinking that they're going to like build a family there, I'm sure it can be done, but that's an uphill battle. And I'm not up for it. I'm not ready to spend 10 years in painful isolation trying to learn the language of a foreign country so that I can be accepted even on the fringes of their community. I'm just like, no, I need it now. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I will put up with the rain. Wow, I'm way behind on the chat here. I gotta speed this up. Spend every comment you leave sends me off on a whole little side plot. There's interesting things here I want to comment on, but I want to catch up, find out what we're talking about now. Oh, geez, I'm so far back. Okay. I'm just going to have to skim a bit. Sorry, guys. It's really hard for me to track the chat while I'm talking because I see interesting things and I want to think about them and comment on them. And then I constantly derail my train of thought and I never finish the thought I was trying to do. So I have to kind of tune out until I stop blabbering and then catch up on the chat. But yeah, Natasha mentioned what I'm doing with Bob. Um, I am gonna leash him. So the apartment that I'm renting is actually like on that hiking trail I was talking about. There's literally a hiking trail, like a dirt path through trees that runs from one core of the city to the other core, and it goes like right. It's along the waterfront, and you would think you're hiking in the mountains almost, but it's like basically a road between these two neighborhoods. And my apartment is right on top of that. So I can just take him out, turn a corner, and I'm on this path. So I'm going to start walking him. I'm going to start with a backpack. I got one of those like cat backpacks with the zip down port that they can kind of lean out and look. And I'm going to start him with that to like get him used to the idea of being out in public, see how he reacts to dogs and other people and stuff. And, once he seems like he's relaxed with it, then I'm going to start walking him on leash. And I'm pretty sure he'll be cool with it. Like, some cats aren't, and you just can't leash train them. I feel like he's basically already leash trained. I mean, look at him. Does that look like an anxious animal? He walks alongside me like a dog every time I go outside. He heels. He just like stays with me. When I stop, he stops. I turn around, he turns around. Like, he wants to walk on trails with me. So it's not really much of a stretch. Like, putting the leash on him, he doesn't care about discomfort. He rolls with it. The only real difference is that there'll be like other people on the trail and animals, and I don't know how he'll react to that. But hopefully he gets chill enough that we can just like wait till they pass, or I don't know. We'll find out. But I think once I get used to him doing that, I'm probably gonna like take him even further and like actually go out on real hiking trails with him and like get him out in the woods and see if we can go up a mountain together. I know it can be done. I see people doing it all the time on social media. There's always like these adventure cat people who they don't even use a leash a lot of the times. They just walk up. So I feel like Bob has it in him. He could do it. Thank you, Crimson. Says I look good. Asked from taking vitamins. It's probably the tan, honestly. I've been getting a lot of sun, and who doesn't look good with a little bit of paleness removed from their craggy, ancient skin? So yeah, thank you though. You know, Natasha, God, I wish I could rent this place. That would be such a nice short-term solution, but I guess I will try actually. If I end up, so I forgot to mention the apartment that I leased in Bellingham is not available till the end of September. I've signed the lease, but it was like I really liked the place and I'm just like I'm not going to find any better than this. I'm just going to deal with the wait. So it's mine, but I can't move in until the end of September. So I have to kill like 3 months of being somewhere. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do it exactly. I'm going to be here some of it for sure. But, assuming that this place doesn't sell during those 3 months, I may, yeah, once I'm moved into my new apartment, I might try to rent the place out. I think it would be difficult because it's such an odd spot. I mean, it's really remote and maybe works on Airbnb for like a weekend, but anybody coming out here for like a whole month, it would have to be a pretty eccentric person. I mean, I don't know. It's worth a shot. I mean, if I'm not living here and I haven't sold it, then I will try. So yeah, I'll put it up for rent and you guys can have the Outpost experience on a limited basis. That might be a winning proposition. Especially as an Airbnb, I'll just like only rent it to you guys. How about that? I would sell it to family, Natasha, if any family wanted to buy it. Um, yeah, nobody's interested. I would love to sell it to the family. Yes. Kiwi girl is so generous tonight. Just sent me a little tip for Bob's harness, which God, somebody sent me a harness. I don't know if they're in the chat tonight, but somebody from this channel mailed me a harness for him, and I was trying to find it the other day. I know I have it around here somewhere, but yeah, I do believe I'm already ready when the time comes. Sorry, I don't remember who sends me these gifts. By the way, uh, it's I remember it for a while, and then after a few months, it starts to blur into that like username profile pic slurry that is always kind of hard for me to connect. As like it was somebody who was like blue and yellow. That's I just have like an impression of the profile picture. Okay, I'm almost caught up. I see you talking about the leash now. I haven't checked out any actual training for adventure cats. I'd like to hope that I don't need it. I don't really want to. I just want it to like unfold naturally the way it has here. Like I didn't do anything to get him to walk alongside me out there. It just happened naturally. And I want to hope that he can continue to be a self-learner that way. But I will check out training if it's necessary. Okay, I finally caught up. Great chatting with you guys tonight. I have missed this. I haven't done it for a long time. Partly, I guess, because it just felt weird after posting that last video. I kind of felt like I broke the flow of these interactions, and I'm like, I can't. How do I follow that? You know, especially since I'm still here, but like, have already said that this isn't that cool for me anymore, and I'm shutting it down. It's kind of a weird place to be for creating anything new out here, which is why I haven't had any other videos since then, and just kind of been focusing on the Bob adventures, which is, by the way, shouldn't mention while I'm here. I made a community post about this earlier, but I took all the Bob Skyrim videos off the channel and put them on their own channel called Bob Quests. Yeah, Bob Quests, plural, which is linked in my profile here. But yeah, I just decided like they weren't really working on this channel. Like they hardly got any views compared to what they're doing on Instagram. And I'm just like, I feel like this is not really the right audience for it. People aren't connecting to it. Or it's just like weird algorithm stuff where they don't know what to do with those videos on a channel like this. So I just figured like they're pretty off brand. I'm just going to put them on their own thing. So they're over there. They're all the same videos that I'm putting on my Instagram. So if you follow me there, you don't really need to see it. But yeah, if you're more of a YouTuber, then feel free to subscribe to that. The only twist to it, there's a couple of them that are sort of like revised and remastered as I re-uploaded them. And then I'm, you know, managing the channel in character as Bob. So, I mean, Bob is managing the channel himself. So he will be commenting to you, not me, in replies to the comments. Okay. I feel like I pretty much covered it. I think I will wrap it up before I wander off into endless rabbit trails and make this video 3 hours long so nobody can find any of the information that I just put in it. But thank you guys for hanging out with me again, even though I failed you with my off-grid expedition. It has actually been really heartwarming for the most part, the responses to that video and people just like being pretty understanding, being really understanding of what it means to try things and have them not work out and just sort of like continue the journey. When I made that decision, I really felt like I'm giving up on something. Like I put so much work into this. I talked such a big game about how like this was the life for me. And then to just be like, nah, never mind. I'm going back to a city to drink coffee and have tacos. It's like, it felt kind of shitty. And I felt like, how do I say this to the very people who, you know, are here because of this lifestyle? And I was expecting a lot of like, you know, people just not getting it and thinking that I'm just giving up and quitting and lacking the courage necessary to continue or whatever, but was pleasantly surprised that like a lot of you had wise words of perspective about it, about how, you know, acknowledging that life is just a journey and it's not really like, and that was kind of a shift of perspective to me. Like, it's not that you don't do things thinking that everything you do, it's like, this is either forever or it's a failure. That's like a weird thought. I think like it comes from, you know, like people think of that about romantic relationships. You know, if you ever break up, then it was a failure. Think about it like investments and starting businesses and just like all sorts of different things. that if it stops and at any time, it was all a failure. And there may be some cases where that's true, but I realized like definitely not for living somewhere. It's like I had an experience here, and it was pretty long, like 4 years. I was really startled and amazed to find out that like Henry Thoreau, who I always thought was like the ultimate OG off-grid outdoorsman who like left society and you know, preached the virtues of nature for his whole life. I didn't know that much about his history, and come to find out he only did it for 2 years, and then he just bailed and like went back to the city and became a city guy again. It's like, how did I never know that? But that was like encouraging to realize, oh yeah, you know, you can try things and you learn lessons from it, and maybe you get a book out of it, and then you move on to whatever's next. So that's what I'm doing, and I appreciate that you guys support that, even though you're here on this channel for those reasons. So I am going to continue. I don't know when I'll have more actual videos. Maybe might take until my next destination, which is a few months away. But unless I think of other stuff to do in the meantime, I'll probably live stream once in a while just to catch up with y'all if I don't have actual content. And yeah, thank you, kitty pups, for more treats for Bob. Bob's going to be living large after this stream. Thank you. I'm not sure what hearting it does other than me acknowledging it in the chat, but I'm going to do that as well. So much appreciated. And I will talk to you later. Have a good night, everybody. Oh, wait, I gotta end it properly with a proper Bob goodbye. I forgot about the tradition. It's been so long. We need a good Bob belly rub to send us off. Say goodbye, everybody, Bob. There, he said it. He said goodbye. Okay, good night.